Hello, welcome to my biofuels project. It's over Whey biofuel production. So the background is that Whey biofuel is a renewable energy source derived from cheese production byproducts. Whey is a liquid left over after cheese making, which is rich in lactose, a sugar. This lactose can be converted into bioethanol through a process called anaerobic fermentation. The resulting bioethanol can be used as a substitute for gasoline in vehicles. The growth, since they included significant levels of sulfate ions and lactose acid. Whey produced during the synthesis of lactic and sulfuric acid are not optimal for this purpose, but it has been discovered that they can be utilized to ferment lactose into ethanol. It's created from fermentation from special strains of yeast. Once the fermentation is complete, the liquid is separated and moved to the distillation process to extract the ethanol, which I got from this site right here, which is Whey to Ethanol, a biofuel role for dairy cooperatives. The development availability. It's not widely available. It's still in production, so it's not like it's not common. Nobody really uses it just yet because it just started being created a few years ago, and so it should be available within the next 10 to 15 years. But right now, it's just still in the process of being created. So the carbon footprint. Since made and isn't a non-renewable source, it helps with the carbon footprint a little bit because it creates less emission into the air. It's also not created in factories that produce emissions, so it helps with the industrial part of the carbon footprint. Biofuel production and processing practices can also release GHGs. Fertilizer application releases nitrous oxide, a potent greenhouse gas, which came from this website right here. And then it also, I think it's this website or another one that I think I have in my sites, it talks about how like the only way that it really affects the carbon footprint a whole lot is the taking it from one place to another in a car, because it has to be, since it can't be easily transferred or traveling, it travels far distances. But the economy through the EPA, it states that with organic creations of biofuels, it leads to increased price in crops, and especially for whey biofuel production, it increases the price of dairy. So pretty much the more we use the dairy and the cheese, the more it boosts the prices, and it makes it harder and less accessible for more people, like normal people. So yeah, communication to the public. Since the biofuel is still in production, or since the whey biofuel is still in production, there isn't a whole lot of communication to the public just yet, because no one really uses it. So people are hesitant to use the biofuels because they don't really understand how it works, and they don't know if it works as good as the non-renewable sources, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, and then my plan of action, I said if there was no funding, I would create 50 biofuel production centers to increase the efficiency of creating it, because there's few, which means it's it takes more time to make it, which makes it less accessible. And then once it's fully operational and you can continue to use it whenever, I would start advertising it to make sure that people would actually want to use it and get personally for me, I would get big people like Elon Musk and I don't know, Mark Zuckerberg and LeBron James to start advertising it, because they have influence. And so I think the more people that would use that, or the more people or more people would start using it just because of those people using it. And then if the public uses it, I always create places at gas stations and different kind of factories and stuff. Mainly the gas stations part, because there isn't a whole lot of non-renewable biofuel, or not non-renewable, renewable biofuel gas stations. So this would just help start that movement, I guess, to create less emissions and less pollution and stuff. And then my sites are the past, present, and future from the National Library of Medicine, and then the economics of biofuels from the EPA, and then the Azo materials. Can we make biofuels from cheese? Which I thought the cheese part was really funny, so that's why I picked this presentation. And then also this, which was like it's called the utilization of cheese industry, but it was just like by a bunch of like doctors and like different like scientists that I thought was super like innovating. So yeah, that is my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it on Whey biofuels. It was pretty interesting to see. I had a good time studying it. So peace.